Good morning, it's Jonathan Barrett with the Trade Alert. Obviously, things change in the markets, and we've got to be pretty apt and pretty nimble in terms of taking these opportunities. But one thing's happened in the markets, which I want to make sure you're aware of, has to do with the Aussie US. Very interesting technical sides and very interesting fundamentals. What you've seen is some pretty drastic CPI data. You've also seen some national accounts data. And over the last couple of weeks, that's sort of formed a little bit of a base for the Aussie. Most important thing is CPI data and what the Reserve Bank said. They basically turned around and said, well, look, we're going to move out of this dovish tone and we're going to go into a hawkish tone, which has really changed things around, because now it's one of the leading economies in the world that's actually going to move to keep rates going higher rather than lower. Obviously, they had to do with CPI, which was well above the target by the RBA. And the RBA's came out and said, well, okay, that's it. Now, what that does to the Aussie, it sort of puts it as more of a higher yielding currency. And as a result of that, people will move towards it. Because once you move into that and everyone else is in dovish, then the Aussie becomes attractive. Now, not a lot of people out there in market land will remember when the Aussie was actually trading at 110 to the US. Now, we're obviously now around about that 66. It's got a long way to go if it ever gets there. But at the moment, we feel there's a bit of a low. And that's why we think that it's an opportunity to buy the Aussie against the US. Let's just have a look at the technicals and you'll get a sense as to why also the fundamental side is moving, but also the technical side is actually saying, you know what, let's have a look at this. Okay, the chart. We like to see whether or not these views work together in tandem. As you can see from this particular chart, the Aussies had a really good move, okay? It's been a strong move from that 64.50 higher. But what we've seen here, we've got a low there, you can see 64.50, and we've got a high there at 66. But will it trade sideways from here or go higher? And I think that's the key. What I want to do is just show you where it's been. As I mentioned, we traded years ago up at 110. So this little trend line I've got on the top there. And as you can quite easily, you can see it. Oops, let's put that there. So I've just flashed it on, flashed it off. So you can actually see. So when you do look at it, see how it's starting to move. We're going back a lot of history. Now, you might think, even going back here when it was 77, that trend line's still in play. But we can go back further. Look what I do when I move it to a weekly chart. And as you can see, we go back a fair way. Now, I've been in the markets for a long time, and I can remember when it traded back there in 2011. But as you can see, we're building momentum up for a break, and that trend is very close. So once it's broken that trend, you can see the Aussie move out of this bearish phase it's been in for some time, and we go bullish. The fundamentals have just kicked in, so now we're starting to feel quite bullish for that Aussie. We're currently long. We do feel it's a good trade. We know that you can go long around this level, that even if you want to buy it on a break of 66.10.20, you can go long and you can have your stop below 64.50. The potential return is upwards of 80 as a first stop. So we can see this is a good return for people to get into if you're looking to trade and you want a long-term trade. That's it from me. This is just a trader's alert. So have a look at it and also trade safe. Put your stops in place or know where you've got to get out of the market. But I think this is a good trade. Anyway, talk to you later. Bye for now.